Tony, thank you very much. Israel's defense minister says that he does expect more protests around the military borders of his country, and he says the protests could also spread elsewhere. That after thousands of Palestinian refugees attempted to breach those borders from all sides over the weekend, resulting in several deaths and dozens of injuries. Joining us this morning to discuss the genesis of this attack and whether we will see Palestinian-Israeli cooperation in the Mideast is Marc Gopin from the School for Conflict Analysis and Resolution at George Mason University. Wow, that was a big intro. This is an issue, of course, that we see continuing through the ages, and now we saw on yesterday a clash to mark, and I don't want to say it wrong, is it Nakba Day?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about what happened and how unprecedented this demonstration really was.
Right. Well, I've been working on this for about 30 years in the Middle East, in the various countries, including Israel and Palestine. And I can say it is very unprecedented because of the coordinated nature of a nonviolent effort to cross the borders from all directions. And the nonviolent effort of masses to do this is part of the Arab Spring. It's part of the empowerment of people with a new Egyptian government and a Syrian government in serious trouble. There has been a leveraging of the masses to have a new way of commemorating Nakba Day, which is the day in which Palestinians commemorate the expulsion of several hundred thousand of their ancestors in 1948. It's new, and it represents a new challenge for the whole Israeli-Palestinian relationship.
Benjamin Netanyahu, going into this day of protest, said that he urged his military to use restraint in this. Yet we did see the deaths, we saw the injuries. Is this what we can just expect when we see thousands rush a border at the same time? Is this just to be expected?
Well, I think the good news is in some ways that the resistance is a nonviolent one. The bad news is that soldiers don't have very particularly good orders on what to do about masses of people who try to cross the border, and that's when you get fatalities and you get injuries. It really needs it's a pressure for there to be a much more aggressive Palestinian-Israeli-American negotiation on a nonviolent approach to a solution.
I want to take advantage of this moment because you're showing video here of what, of course, looks like a very organized effort. When you see this, what do you think?
Well, there's two things, I think. On the one hand, it was actually a very inspiring moment to see Syrian citizens, Palestinians who had never been able to cross before, actually come across, and there were some very touching moments of people actually coming back to the land of their ancestors. On the other hand, we know that there ended up being a lot of deaths. And there's another aspect of this, and that is that there are certain elements in Syria that we're sending a clear message to Israel, and that is that if they're breaking down from an Arab Spring, Israel's going to suffer also. So once again, the Palestinian issue and the Palestinian cause becomes a leveraging point in state-to-state relations. So the Syrians never allowed a breach of their border in 40 years. So this is also a clear statement of tension between Syria and Israel on the Arab Spring and how it's going to affect both countries.
Let me ask you this huge question. Where does the UN stand now in either the non-creation or the creation of giving these protesters what they want, a Palestinian state?
That's a good question. In my opinion, the United Nations has to become, as much as possible, a transparent body of focusing on the rule of law and the abiding by all the resolutions, whether those resolutions are helpful for Israel or for Palestine. In other words, everything that the United Nations had hoped for and insisted upon for both Israelis and for Palestinians needs to be looked into and needs to get better and better as a transparent system of adjudication. And that's where I hope things will go as everyone becomes more empowered and more people are becoming more and more empowered in the Middle East. And I hope the United Nations can manage that based on the rule of law.
Marc Gopin is with George Mason University's Institute for Conflict Analysis and Resolution. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.